Welcome everyone to We Are Endurance webinar series. I have the great pleasure of introducing you to Eva Solomon of Epic Races. Just a pitch for Epic. They have some amazing races, and last year Jackie and I did Swim to the Moon, which was my favorite open water swim. I loved it. I have to come back. And I'm going to hand it over to Eva to tell us all about the different races that they have at Epic Races.
Okay, thank you, Hillary. And it's fun because I'm thinking about the last time I was on a podcast with you, and I remember telling you all about these races, but I was telling you, but you hadn't done one yet. And I love that now you've had that experience and understand what they're all about, because our races they're all just like a little bit different. We have our standard triathlons, but every one has something I feel like just a little different. They're special. So I'm going to start off by talking about Swim to the Moon, because that's what you were just talking about. And that's happening this year on August 20th. And we are very close to being sold out. We had a price increase on Monday. And when there is a price increase, a lot of people sign up, and we just usually a lot closer. So that happened. We have maybe 100 spots left. And that's across the 10K actually was full. What we had to do because we can only have a certain number, we can only have 800 people, and we allocate for the races because we want people to be able to get in certain races and not have it unbalanced. So we ended up, for the first time ever, taking spots from the 5K and allocating them to the 10K after a few people emailed us saying, oh no, it's closed. We were surprised. So I think now we have over 200 in the 10K. Our first year we had 30, and we thought that was a lot from the 10K. So what's really special about this open water swim, the first thing is just the venue. It's 5 lakes, and for the 5K, it's point to point. We bus everybody out to North Star Reach, which is a camp for kids with life-threatening illnesses, and everybody swims 5K to the finish from there. And it's just, the water is calm. The water temperature is usually in the mid to high 70s. There's a little bit of a current in your favor going for the 5K, but not so much that for the 10K, it's a problem that you feel like you're swimming against a current. And it's just lovely. Then after a couple of years of having the 5K, people started asking for a 10K, and I thought, okay, we'll do that. And so that's out and back. People swim out, and then when they turn around, people start turning around, we start funneling the 5Kers in there. And another thing that makes it really special, a lot of open water swims, people have to bring their own support boat with a person in that boat. We don't do that. We have a minimum of 20 lifeguards out there on stand-up paddle boards and in kayaks, and a lot of volunteer paddlers. For people who want their own paddler, we have that person sign up as neutral support. So that person, they can hang around their friend or family member, whoever it is, but they need to be there as neutral support for everybody. And it's very safe. And after you've had the experience, Hillary and Jackie, you have too, and you know that you don't swim very far without having a support boat right there. So we're excited about that. That's later in the summer, as I said, August 20th. Leading up to that, we have the Island Lake Triathlon, which we like to call it the kickoff race for Michigan, kickoff tri. It was for a while. Now there's a couple races that are earlier, but I don't know about you guys who have raced in Michigan, but racing triathlon in Michigan in May is just like hit or miss, really. So we still call it the kickoff tri because it's more of a sure thing happening in June. And we have a mini sprint, a sprint, and an Olympic distance. So what's great about that, there's something for everybody to be able to get their season going. It's in Island Lake State Park, which is nice because it's all within the park. Just really nice course, both for the bike and the run and for the swim. It's the water temperature, it's pretty much guaranteed wetsuit legal, which people like. It's usually in the low to mid 70s and just fabulous, I think. So I'm always kind of jealous of everyone out there racing. It's early in the season and I'm just kind of anxious to get out there. And of course, I don't race these races because I'm there organizing them. And after Island Lake, we go into our women's only race, the Tri-Goddess Triathlon, which this year is the part of a new series. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but USA Triathlon has a women's series now. So it's they have selected some of the great women's only races across the country, and they've created a women's series. So we are part of that. We're very excited about it. And another thing we're excited about, this is our 15th year of this race. This is the first ever all women's tri in Michigan. It's the largest all women's tri. And every 5 years, we offer an Olympic distance. So this is that year, we're having 15 years. So we have a mini sprint, a sprint, and an Olympic distance in that race. And I don't know if there even are any other women's only Olympic distance races out there. I imagine there are some, but I don't know. And we have a training plan out there. USAT created a women's Olympic distance training plan. So we have published that. And if anybody wants that, that is up on our website and it's free and created by a USAT coach. And then continuing with our triathlons, we also are hosting the Michigan State Championship this year. The Ann Arbor Tri, which has been around since 1986, is going to be the Michigan State Championship this year. So we're very excited about that. And what's unique about that race is it's a trail run, and not just a trail run like on a dirt road, but it's on the Potawatomi Trail, which is kind of, like just an iconic trail. People know it. It's a technical trail, a very popular mountain biking trail, but also a challenging mountain biking trail. So we're kind of proud to have our run on that trail. And it's an Olympic distance, but it's a little short of the run. So people like that. It's they're doing their Olympic distance, but it's a 5-mile run, which is still within the parameters of an Olympic distance tri. So that's our regular triathlons, sort of regular, that we have. What I want to really talk about that we're very excited about, a race that we have that happens every other year, and this is the year, and it's called the Battle of Waterloo. It's a 10-stage triathlon. So we call it an adventure triathlon. And it's whenever I say that, people say, well, I don't understand. How can you have 10 stages in a triathlon? Well, the way it happens is it's run, bike, swim, run, bike, run. So you start off in the park where it starts and run 1.5 miles. It's a loop on a trail, a really, really great loop. Hop on your bike, ride your bike 20 miles to a lake called Clear Lake. And there, just in the middle of nowhere, you find another transition area. So you rack your bike there, and then you swim across the lake. And then you run to a lake called Mill Lake. And I don't know all the distances in my head, but most of the runs are like 4 miles-ish, average of 4 miles, maybe 5, some of them. And then you get to Mill Lake. Mill Lake, you don't know what you're going to find each year. Sometimes it's a lake, sometimes it's a swamp. And every year it's swimmable. I go out there and test it myself to make sure that it's going to be okay for everybody. It's fun. And we have little nicknames for some of the swims. This one is lily paddles, because there's lily pads that you use as paddles. And if you use them as paddles, it's great. You grab one and kind of push the lily pad and just move through. So you get through there, and then you run to a lake called Crooked Lake. This is your longest lake. It's I think it's like 9/10 of a mile. And you get to Crooked Lake and you swim there. And oh, by the way, I didn't mention this at the beginning. You have to carry your gear with you the whole time. So when you're swimming, you have to do something with your shoes. When you're running, you have to do something with your cap and goggles. People do all sorts of things. We started this race long before safer swimmers were a thing. Those like swim buoys that you pull behind you. We started before that. So, personally, I kind of liked it better when people didn't have them, because we would see all the contraptions people would come up with to carry their shoes. They would do different sorts of things with dry bags. Some leave their shoes on their feet. Some still do. Some take their shoes off of their feet and they tuck it into the back of their bathing suit. And it kind of almost works like a pull buoy when you have it there. Your shoes are wet, but they kind of get wet anyway. So Crooked Lake, you've got that longer swim, figuring out what to do with your stuff. You get out, and then you run to where you left your bike after that 20-mile ride, and get on your bike, and you bike 5 miles back to where you started. So it's just a shorter way. It's a shortcut. We take everyone on a longer route, a real nice route getting out there, short 5 miles to get back. You rack your bike in your original bike rack, and then you run 1.5 miles to the finish. And I love being at the finish, because everybody crosses the line and says, "Oh my God, that was so much fun." I mean, it's just like one after the other. Nobody has crossed the line and said that sucked. And that happens at races. But everyone, there's just like, that was a blast. That was so much fun. We do offer something we call half the battle. And it's kind of half. It's a run, and then a shorter bike, and then a swim, and then a run, and then you bike back and run again. So the bike is only 5 miles each way. So it's just something, if people want to get a taste of Battle of Waterloo, see what it's like, we have that option. So
What's the mileage of that?
the total is 42 miles. So, but remember, 25 is bike. So if you want to think about like, what would it be equivalent to? It would be kind of like a half Ironman, but shorter because of the bike. But the rest of it is close. The running is about 13-ish, right around there. The course sometimes changes a little bit, so I don't know like all the exact distances, but each run is anywhere from 3 to 5 miles. Very manageable.
Why? I mean, why do you do it every other year? Is it because it's just so much it's
a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, every year, can't you just do it again next year? And we went ahead and did that once, and I never regret it, because I love it. I love what I do. I love putting on races. I love that race. It's so special. But we put on a lot of races, and the ones I just mentioned were just the triathlons and the swim. We also have running races. We have the Ann Arbor Marathon. We have a turkey trot. So it's just a lot. And I don't want to spread our talent too thin. I want to be able to give it our all at every race. So that's the reason. And I think that makes it kind of special for the participants, knowing, do it this year, or else you have to wait 2 years.
So I guess I have to wait 2 years, huh?
You can do it this year.
Yeah, I'm more booked up.
Well, we all get booked. And who knows, we have a unique thing going on for us this year. So I have my niece's wedding in Boston that weekend. And I'm not going to miss my niece's wedding because of work. My work is unique. It's different. It's hard to take a day off. It really is. On a race weekend, of course. Otherwise, it's not that hard. But I need to be there. So my good friend, Eric Opdyke, who you may know him from Rev 3. He was the founder of Rev 3 Triathlon, and he's going to come in and be the race director. So the race is in good hands. I am catching a 5 a.m. flight the morning after the wedding, Sunday morning, and I'll be there, but I won't be there at the start, and I won't be there to set up the course or any of that the day before. So maybe he will love this race so much he'll want to come back year after year, and then we can make it every year. We'll see. Yeah, I'll have to have him listen to this podcast and see what he says. So yeah. So and I'm excited to do that too, to bring his talent to the race. He's got lots of experience, different from mine. And I just think we can make a great race even better. So, yeah. So
that race also, the Battle of Waterloo, that's appeared in Triathlon magazine. I mean, there's been a lot of publicity about that one.
Yeah.
What makes it different than, say, SOS?
That's a really great question. So we have partnered with SOS, and we are partnering sort of this year, where if you are in the top 3 male female, you get a slot in SOS. So SOS kind of being the championship there. So it's very similar, and the differences are the water's warmer. So I've been told. And you don't start off on your bike, you start off in a run. I'm not SOS, I think, has fewer legs. I don't know if any of you know how many. I don't know off the top of my head how many they have, but I think it's fewer.
I think SOS has only one swim leg. And then
really?
it's bike run, bike run, bike run.
Okay.
I'm not positive. I thought I saw
I'll have
that.
to find out. So yeah, I think it might have more than one, but you might be right. Yeah. So, but it's modeled after SOS. We didn't come up with an idea to put on a race like this, just, oh, let's do this. We knew about this venue, and we knew about SOS, and said, hey, we can do something just as cool here in Waterloo. So yeah, so we're kind of, like sister races, sort of. And we'll see what happens from that. But it's exciting that people can get slots to SOS because it fills up so fast. So
Yes.
We're excited to be able to offer that, and hope that all works out.
Quick question about the bike on the Battle of Waterloo. So you said it's 20 miles. What is it? Is it trail riding or?
No, it's all road.
Oh,
Yeah, and we've thought about actually making it a gravel bike, because we could out there. We could come up with a course that's gravel, but it's road, kind of, so more, classic triathlon with that. And the running is a lot of trail, road and trail. So, and it's just a beautiful area. I mean, this is, I grew up in Michigan, and I was further east, and my parents never took me to the Waterloo Recreation Area. It was probably an hour from my house. I can't believe all those years I never was there. It's just beautiful, and it's just right here, right in our backyard. I just think everybody should have that experience of having a race there. And it's an area where we have a lot of our races, so we've gotten to know it pretty well.
Oh, by the way, I looked up SOS, and it's one bike. It starts off with a 30-mile bike, and then it's, swim, run,
Yeah.
for 7 segments.
Okay, yeah, that sounds more familiar, but I know it starts off with the longer bike ride. We have 2 bike rides, which is kind of fun, how it's like to have that second transition, hop on your bike, come back. And that in a way becomes more of like a swim run, which, those are becoming popular. And people have asked us, well, are you going to switch it to a swim run? No, because it's a triathlon. It's what it is. But it has those aspects of a swim run, a little different. No paddles or pull buoys, unless you want to use your shoes as a pull buoy. But people ask us that. We're like, no, you don't want to carry shoes and a pull buoy and paddles. But it's different. It's our own version.
well, we'll try to get a group together for 2 years from now. unless you make it next year.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, for me, it's too much to do it as well as I want to do it, but you never know what could happen. Because it's pretty special. So we want to offer it to as many people as we can. So yeah, so that's our triathlon season. That's what we've got going on. Other than, like I said, some running races, the Ann Arbor Marathon, which is in October, Detroit Women's Half Marathon, which is a fabulous women's half marathon in Detroit. We call it Women Run the D. And yeah, Jackie's other club volunteers there a lot. They do an aid station. They're quite a good volunteer group. And that's where I think, is that where you did lead bike, Jackie? At Women Run the D, yeah.
Yeah, it was at that event. And then Josh had the group doing the aid station. I can't remember the exact location, but we had a group doing that aid station. And after I finished the bike lead, I headed over to a hot corner just to help direct people around the corner. Then I saw one of our Channel 4 news anchors running the race. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, Karen was in it.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
That was exciting.
Yeah. It's always nice when, when you have local news people, familiar faces, celebrities for us here in Detroit who participate in races like that. So yeah, I was happy to be there and happy to help out. So
The Ann Arbor Marathon is a big race too. How many people do you get for that one?
We get about 2,000. So not huge, but
No,
that's what all the
nice.
distances, because we have a full, a half, a 10K and a 5K. But it's great. It goes through the campus, University of Michigan. And it used to be in the spring, and we switched it, not really switched it. We had no choice but to have it in the fall during COVID. After canceling twice, we didn't want to wait any longer. So we were able to have it in the fall. In the past, we were limited by Michigan football. So we stayed away from the fall, but we were able to find a weekend to do it that year. And looking at the football schedule, as long as they don't change it, which they probably will, but if they don't, we were good. We have our weekend for about 5 years. So we keep it in the fall, which is exciting.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that Ann Arbor area is so gorgeous. Really beautiful.
Yes.
I was like, if I didn't live in New York, I'd live there. It's so
There's a lot of other pretty great places to live, I think. I love that you're saying that, but I just got back from Big Sur. If I didn't live in Ann Arbor, I'd live in Big Sur.
That's on my bucket list as well. Did you do the race this year?
I did.
Wow.
So I had to stop running a couple of years ago because of my back. And I started walking, and then I realized I'm a fast walker. So I walked, they have a 21-mile distance, and I walked that. I actually did it last year as well. I liked it so much, I came back. Thought about doing the fall, and I would have, they have a very strict cutoff. So that's why they offered the 21. I would have been fine. I could have done it, no problem. But, the nice thing about 21, as we all know, 20 miles is when you're halfway done with the race. Kind of. So training and all of that, it just was so much nicer, especially walking, because it takes a long time and training. So to not have to do another 5 miles was great for training. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It was great. They have a new race director this year. He did a great job.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Eva?
So in the Waterloo race, how much time does it take for the average participant to complete the race?
That's a good question. I have to look up average, but my guess is probably about 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be a little on the fast side, but it's about four hours. Because
is there a cutoff?
There is, and it's on the website. You probably
so around 7 hours, maybe 7.5-ish.
We have a point you have to reach, as opposed to just saying, okay, at this time we pull you off the course. And I can look it up, but maybe it's more like 5 hours for the average, but around there. We have a few real fast people who finish, and then kind of everybody else just is trickling in. And then there's always a few people, and we wait, and they're out there and happy and just plugging along, and we're keeping them safe. We keep the race very small. We kept it to 200 people just to keep it safe, and be able to keep an eye on everybody. The aid stations are pretty special. We do something where each aid station, a different group is in charge of the aid station. And we give them $20 and we say, get something special for your aid station. So there's anything from like Pop-Tarts to watermelon, M&Ms, all kinds of creative things are out there. So that's very fun and just like a little treat to have. And the aid stations are at every water entrance and exit is where we have it. So I'm looking here for the cutoff time is you have to be at leg 6. Oh, so yeah, you have to be at leg 6 in 4 hours by 11:30 a.m. You have to be at leg 8 in 5 hours, 20 minutes by 1:10 p.m. And you have to reach the finish in 7 hours. So yeah, that's where, so people are finishing about 4 hours.
Do you have, I'm interested in when you said that, you're trying to keep track of people. Do you have like timing mats at different parts of the course just to try to, make sure
we do. Actually, we have one out there and right around the halfway point in the road. But we have lots of people out there. We have somebody sagging on their mountain bike, and people really want that job because you're not allowed to mountain bike those trails. So that's our opportunity. Yeah. So we have a sag mountain bike, just, hanging out with the last person, and then, and just, volunteers out there and keeping track on paper of where everybody is when they enter, when they exit.
So do you have to use a mountain bike or?
No. I used a road bike.
Right. This is on the running trails.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Oh, yeah. You use a road bike on the road. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can't use a mountain bike, but it's all road. You don't need a gravel bike or a mountain bike.
If you wanted to go out, is there a service where you could rent a bike?
Not that I know. We have connected people with local tri club members, just putting the word out. Hey, we have someone coming in for one bike. Yeah.
Okay.
Best way. It's very hard, as you all know, to find bike shops that rent bikes. So yeah, we will connect people though.
Great. Anybody else?
No, I want to add a couple of points. I did the battle. I don't remember what year it was. It was a while ago, probably 2 battles ago. And I had heard about it numerous times from a friend of mine who talked about it at length and how, excited he was about the race. And I thought, okay, I'll sign up for it. So I went out there, and there were other members from my Michigan-based tri club that raced it. So it was nice to see familiar faces, but everything about the race was completely new to me. And before the race started, I don't know if it was Eva that made this announcement, but they said, if you'd like, we have some deer fly tape that you can put on the back of your hat. So while you're running on the trails, you, instead of having these deer flies attack you, they will stick to the back of the tape on your, so I went for it. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. And then it was a bit of a challenge trying to keep my shoes and socks dry. And I think maybe if I was more accustomed to running in wet shoes and no socks, or, things that I could have done to have been more efficient during the race, because I was one of those over 7-hour finishers. They were nice and let me finish the race, but I'm slow at all 3 events in a triathlon anyway. But I was even slower at this because of the number of times you had to stop with the goggles and stop with your shoes. And, there was just a lot of that I wasn't really, I just wasn't really prepared and hadn't really practiced. But it was an epic event. I mean, epic because it's the name of the race company, but epic in terms of the experience. It was really fantastic. And I think if I was going to do it again, I would sign up for half the battle, because the full battle, I think, was just a little more than I could do in the allotted time. So if I did the half, then I wouldn't be a liability out on the course next time. So But like I said, they kept the finish line open and they waited for me. So, and I think I was like second to last. I think one other person came in after me. So it was nice that they stayed and kept us
We
on the
always
clock.
say, we have these cutoffs, but it's rare that we enforce it. Don't tell that to anybody. How many deer flies were on your hat at the end?
I don't remember, what kept happening was when I take my hat off and stuff it in my dry bag, then the tape would fold over.
Oh,
And then I had a
gross.
heck
And
of a
then you're
time because I was like,
stitching deer
I
flies.
couldn't figure out like, how do I protect the sticky
Yeah.
part of the tape from, and yeah, so that was another challenge. But there were a
That's
few.
true. Yeah. But it's the deer flies can be bad out there sometimes. So it's funny that you brought that up. I remember trying everywhere to find the deer fly tape. It was sold out everywhere. But we were
Wow.
able to, at the last minute, I found a whole bunch of it someplace. And so
Yeah.
Do you have to be careful about ticks?
well, I mean, anywhere you do in the woods, but it's not like New York. We don't have the same tick problem that you have in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've never gotten one, and I live in an area that's, I got deer, so they could have ticks on them. I've never gotten one in my own yard. But every year I kind of think about it. I cut my grass with long pants and long sleeves, but obviously during Battle of Waterloo, I was in tri shorts and a tri top. So I didn't really have any protection on. And it wasn't like I had carried a can of bug spray, to reapply after I got out of each lay,
Oh, we
I
do
wasn't
have
gonna
that
do
at
that.
the aid stations too.
Oh, okay. I might have done it at some of the aid stations just to try and, because they just, those flies, they love your ears for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know what
They
that
go to
is.
the
We can't-
highest part of your body. That's why we
Okay.
put tape on the hats. Some people you'll see out on those trails, they take a styrofoam cup and like put it on a stick, and then they put the tape around the styrofoam cup
Oh,
because it keeps it even higher. Or you'll see
fascinating.
people out for like a walk or go hiking, and they have a stick that they hold up high with
Ah,
the tape.
interesting.
I think we're making the race less appealing right now. I'm worried about that.
No. It's just one of those things when you trail run, this is just a given, right?
It's true.
Absolutely. I have a question about the sneakers. Is there a specific type of sneaker that you would recommend for this type of race? That you could, where the water goes through it?
Yeah. I'd say a tri sneaker, like Zoot makes some shoes and, those because they're lighter, they're smaller. And the people who win the race usually take their shoes, they don't wear socks, they take their shoes and they stick them in the back of their bathing suit. Just even like if they're wearing a Speedo, just like women right in the top and, guys in the top of the bathing suit in the back. Those are usually the winners. And then if it's a fast drying shoe, like a tri specific shoe, that works well. Or some people leave them on their feet. So that, in my opinion, that's not smart because it doesn't put you in the right position for
Too
swimming.
much drag.
You've got the drag and you're going to arch your back too much, I would think, because your shoes float. So that's why having them, or even using them as a pull buoy, put them there in the right spot to help your body position for swimming. So I like dry shoes though, so I'd put them in a dry bag and carry them.
You don't need a wetsuit for this race?
No, you really can't.
Uh,
Well, SOS, I've heard some people will carry a wetsuit. I've heard that.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think it's common, but people will. Yeah, here, nobody would. I haven't seen anyone do that. I think one time though, I do remember seeing somebody riding their bike in a wetsuit. I think they left it on.
wow.
There was something. I don't remember the whole story, but I did see that once.
But
Yeah,
the race is always in July, right?
Yeah, it's
I can't imagine wearing a
July.
wetsuit. No,
No,
it's
you
too
don't
hot
need
for that.
it. Yeah, and the lakes are warm. None of
Right.
them.
so
Even-
2025.
Right, that would be 2025. That's Who knows what'll be going on by then? That's why you got to do it this year. That's the whole thing with the every other year, Hillary. You don't know what's happening in 2 years.
Then I'll be in a really old age group. Maybe I'll win.
There'll be two of us. You can have first and I'll take second.
If I'm doing it, you're doing it with me, Jackie.
I will. Yeah.
So, anything else before we end? All right. Well, thank you very much, Eva. I really appreciate your time and telling us all about your races, and they all sound amazing. So we will definitely come out there and do them.
Yeah, no, we're very excited about this year. Things are getting back to normal. Our numbers are soaring, which is great. Getting back from the whole COVID fiasco, and we're feeling good about it. We're excited. It was great to see you, and what a nice surprise to see Jackie Brown. It just took me a minute, but it's great and nice to meet you, Ray and Stephen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All
All
right.
right, bye.
Bye.
Great day.